earth are now we the champions, the Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
3-2. Here it is! The Washington Nationals are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Let the good times roll. LSU sits on the throne of college football.
And this one is over. Kansas City has won their first Super Bowl in 50 years.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know
you're hot. Good morning, everybody, on an absolutely beautiful Friday. The weekend just about upon us, and we are on the road once again today at Town Village Audubon Park. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays, the Friday, March 6th, 2020 edition. March Madness already underway for the Memphis Tigers with a big win last night that we'll talk about on the program today. But we welcome you in. Alongside Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Zach Boyd holding down the fort back in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, all the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. I'll be heading over there later today. Pick up a ring that they have fixed for me. 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. The website, gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. Your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 23 years. First hour sponsor of the show, James Gaddis Jewelers. All right, let me give you the rundown for what's coming up on the show today. Tell you a little bit more about where we're at, and then Eli will go over some of the things that you can win today and all the great things that we're doing over the course of the next 3 hours. On the program today, of course, we'll be talking plenty about the Tigers' win last night over Wichita State. And now in position to get a first-round bye in the conference tournament. It won't be easy, but they have to win at Houston on Sunday. The red-hot Grizzlies, they won 3 in a row. They'll be playing in Big D tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. The Grizz now 41-41, and they got a little help last night in the NBA. We'll talk about that. Also, Steph Curry's return to the Golden State Warriors. At 11 o'clock, the son of former or Hall of Famer but former UNLV great Jerry Tarkanian, Danny Tarkanian, who played for him but more importantly has written a book about his father, Rebel with a Cause. Danny Tarkanian, now author, attorney, he will join us at 11 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, Matt Dillon for the Tiger Basketball Report. Also today, 10 in a row. It's the game show that has swept the nation. Give you a chance to win a great prize package. That's all coming up on the program today. And will Peyton Manning reportedly being offered $20 million a year to be a Monday Night Football analyst for ESPN, will he take that gig? But again, we're at Town Village Audubon Park. Senior living in today's world, offering more options to fit your needs more than ever before, dedicated to the long-term satisfaction and quality of life for the residents. We have been here a number of times, and the folks here are sensational. We'll talk to Carolyn McDougal a little bit later on in the program. She is just wonderful. You can call them at 901-537-0002. Go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com or come on by, have them give you a tour and find out more about what is happening here at Town Village Audubon Park. Eli, it's always fun to be over here.
Absolutely. Always good to see the great folks over here at Town Village Audubon Park and and get a chance to talk to Carolyn, as we will a little bit later on. But always great folks over here, great place. And they're very. It's a fantastic place. It's a fantastic place for those seniors out there looking for a place to live. This certainly is an outstanding one right here in the heart of East Memphis. Very convenient location. They provide transportation to various places, so works out very well for folks that want to come on by. It's right at the corner of Park and Cherry. The entrance is off of Cherry. Very easy to find. You could come on in here. Coming up around 11 o'clock or so, we are going to have some barbecue from Memphis Barbecue Company down there in Horn Lake, right there at I-55 and Goodman Road. Melissa Cookston, who is the owner of Memphis Barbecue Company, who is I believe a 10-time world champion, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's 10-time world champion barbecuer.
She is incredible. She's won so many competitions, as you said, and people here, not only the residents here, but anybody who wants to come by, once they bring the barbecue, you're going to be able to taste that World Championship barbecue.
Yeah, so they're going to be bringing barbecue by around 11 o'clock or so. If you want to come on in just for coming by, you can grab a Sports 56 T-shirt. Also, I brought along today, again, some of the football game day programs from the Tigers' win in 1996 against Tennessee. Again, we had someone drop off a box full of these, and they are in mint condition. It's the game day, the official game day program that they were handing out that day at the Liberty Bowl when the Tigers beat Tennessee November 9th of 1996. If you would like one of those for a little keepsake, all you got to do is come on by. Got about, 10 of them. So you could come on by and grab one of those just for coming by. Plus, you can register to win. Drop your name in the box here on the table. We're going to be giving away some free golf down at Wedgwood Golf Club, which, of course, we are getting very close to grass greening up and great golf weather coming up here in the not-too-distant future. And, of course, the time changes this weekend, so more daylight as well to get out and play some golf. We're going to be giving away some free golf at Wedgwood at the end of the show. We've got a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop we're going to be drawing for at the end of the show. We also have a couple of pair of Malco movie passes that we're going to be drawing for at the end of the show. So plenty of opportunities to win. All you got to do is drop your name in the box. But again, the Sports 56 T-shirts, the Memphis football game day programs from the Tennessee game, those are just free for coming by while supplies last. So come on by and see us here at Town Village Audubon Park. All
right, the scene is set. If you want to contact us, you want to comment on anything, you could text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. You can hit us up on Twitter at Eli560 at Greg_Gaston. As I said a moment ago, March Madness really started last night for the Memphis Tigers, having to win that game against Wichita State to have a chance to get a first-round bye in the conference tournament next week in Fort Worth. They got some help. Connecticut knocked off Houston 77-71. Of course, the other day, SMU lost in Florida. So all things are falling into place for the Tigers. However, it will not be easy to go to Houston for an 11 a.m. Sunday morning game, and play a team that's angry from the first time when you beat them here. And I believe they'll be full strength, which they were not for the first meeting with Memphis. But nonetheless, the Tigers took care of business last night, and they took care of business in style. Started out slow. They were down 7-0, and you thought, oh, my gosh, they're going to run out of their own gym. And lo and behold, they go on a huge run. I think it was a 13-0 scoring run for the Tigers. And they never looked back. Eli, I thought that was easily their best overall game of the year, especially when you throw in the circumstances of playing a very physical Wichita State team who you lost to in Wichita, and everything that was going on in the last 24 hours with all the off-the-court news, all the noise. I thought the Tigers played tremendous basketball last night.
Yeah, it was, I would say, probably their best performance of the year. I mean, they the defense, once again, outstanding, just really made it extremely difficult on Wichita State to do anything, holding them to 34% shooting, 26% from three-point line. Obviously, Wichita State helped by missing a lot of free throws. Wichita State looked like the Tigers in some of the games that they have played at the free throw line. They ended up 12 of 22, and that was thanks to shooting them well at the end of the game. At one point, I believe they were 5 for 14, may have been 5 for 15 to start that game before they and maybe, but yeah. So it was a good all around performance. Tigers didn't shoot the ball extremely well. I mean, you could still say they're offensively
they never do, right?
37%, 9 of 26 from three, but Tyler Harris was absolutely outstanding. 5 of 9 from three-point range, hitting big shots. Precious, his normal double-double, even though he was only 4 of 11 from the field, 14 points, 16 rebounds. Damian Ball re-injured the thumb. He didn't contribute. Boogie Ellis kind of regressed a little bit back to the old Boogie Ellis on the offensive end. But yeah, overall, an impressive victory for the Tigers.
Well, a couple of categories when I look at the box score really stick out. Number one, the bench. And a lot of that was Tyler, but it wasn't all Tyler. As you mentioned, Tyler with 19 points was absolutely sensational. And it goes back to what we said. If Tyler's making shots, he needs to be on the floor, no matter what. No matter mismatch defensively, he has to be out there. And he added 4 rebounds and 4 assists. He played spectacular basketball. So it was 38-6 bench, but half of those points were from Tyler. So that meant 19 scored by the rest of the guys. And with Wichita State getting very little from their bench, it made it very tough on their starters. The other thing was, and again, the turnovers. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Memphis turns the ball over 8 to 10 times, a lot of the games that they lost earlier in the year were wins. No question they are wins. And if they turn it over 8 to 10 times on Sunday, they got a chance. If they turn it over 8 to 10 times, no matter who they play and how many games they play in the conference tournament, they have a chance to win the conference tournament. So again, I understand Wiseman departed. It was a huge loss. That took him out of a national championship run. Everybody knew that. They lost DJ Jeffries. That was a lot of talent. But for people to say there's no talent on this team, it's ludicrous. They lost games because they couldn't execute down the stretch. They committed critical turnovers, okay? Last night, the win over Houston, it just proves that there's a lot of talent on this basketball team. And when they all play together, even when they don't shoot well, which is most of the time, they can win basketball games with that defense, with the ability to lock down other teams, and when they don't give them all these extra possessions because of turnovers.
Yeah, 7 turnovers, the resulting in just 8 points. They were +7 in points off turnovers in this game. If they can do that, certainly. And creating turnovers themselves, that allows them to get out and run and do what they want to do and play a lot faster. So that's we saw Precious get a couple of dunks off of turnovers. So that's going to be, I think, the number one key every game with them is just simply look at the turnover number and see where it is to give them a chance. And playing at Houston, a team that you've beaten once, so they want some revenge. They lost last night, so they're a little angry. They have to have the win to have a chance to win the conference. So there's a lot on the line for Houston on Sunday. That is going to be a difficult task for the Tigers. They're going to have to play probably even better than they played last night if they're going to have a chance to beat Houston on Sunday.
Yeah, perhaps last night was a bit of desperation. They knew the situation. And Penny did say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eli, because we were both at the post-game presser. I believe I heard Penny say that if they beat Houston, they're in. He feels like that's going to be good enough to get them in the tournament, assuming they don't drop the first round game, even if it's the second.
I didn't hear him say that.
I thought he had made, maybe it was kind of like just easy to miss, but I thought he said that he felt like they have done enough, even if they don't win the conference tournament. I think that's what he meant, if they beat Houston. And that's an argument for people that are in the room on Selection Sunday, not for us. We could debate it, but we don't have the final say. They do. I don't know if that puts them, I would imagine it puts them higher up on the bubble, but I don't think by any stretch of the imagination it puts them in. But at least puts them into position to make a run in the conference tournament. You really need to win. And look, let's be honest, the odds are against them. Going down to Houston, Houston's a pretty solid team. But then again, Houston lost last night, albeit on the road to Connecticut. I think this is a very average conference this year. I think in years past this has been an underrated conference. There are a lot of competitive programs, but I think this year you don't have any standouts. Even Houston, I think, is a team that can easily get knocked out in their first game in the NCAA tournament. I assume that Houston will get there no matter what. we may have a bit of a surprise winner in the conference tournament. And if so, you're going to be guaranteed at least 2. I was talking to some folks last night. They think, absolutely 3. They may get 3, but I think if they get 3, it's only because it is weak around the country, and you got to have 68 teams. But I think it has been a pretty average year in the conference, which makes it even more frustrating when you know of the Tigers' problems in a year when they should have really waltzed through the conference if they had all that talent that they thought they were going to have before the season started. Also last night was really strange to see at the end of the game no handshake line. As we heard from Penny, he said they were told before the game that they weren't going to do that because the coronavirus, shaking hands is a way, touching face is a way to spread the germ. So they did not do that. There were a couple of pats on the shoulder and maybe an elbow bump or two. But that's something we're going to see a lot more of in sports here in the coming days and weeks. We'll see what happens with the NCAA tournament. But I don't think this was a one-time thing.
Well, no. I mean, this was the conference announced that going forward there will not be handshakes as of right now. So obviously all of the conference games and the conference tournament games I'm sure will apply as well. But it's, and then certainly, I mean, post-game handshake is a post-game. Who cares? Like that's something easy to eliminate. I still think teams not traveling to places to play games is an overreaction, but not doing a post-game handshake certainly. And some guys still shook hands and talked to guys they know or whatever after the game. But I give Kelvin Sampson credit because when Houston was in Memphis and lost to the Tigers, he was way ahead of that program.
Probably for a different reason, but yes, he was ahead.
He was way out in front. He saw this. He was being very preventative at that day, way back when. He knew what was coming, and so he just went ahead and didn't shake hands that day.
By the way, the University of Washington announcing with more than 50,000 students, they are closing classrooms and moving to remote learning amid the coronavirus outbreak. We already know Chicago State didn't go play their game in Seattle. UMKC has already said they're not going to play a game against Seattle. Also, there was news yesterday that a stadium employee who worked the XFL's Seattle Dragons home game at CenturyLink Field on February 22nd has tested positive for coronavirus. So obviously it's more of a concern right now in the state of Washington. But certainly something to keep an eye on as we move forward. And the Tigers will be moving forward to Houston on Sunday to play the Cougars. And I believe
I have deciphered all possible tiebreak scenarios for the Tigers. They could end up in a 2-way tie, a 3-way tie, or a 4-way tie in the conference. And I believe I have deciphered all of those.
Is it worth 20 minutes discussing it? Give us the Cliff Notes version.
Well, the number one thing is if they win, they're the number 4 seed.
They're set.
They're
going to buy.
There is no matter what because they will have been 2-0, they'll be 2-0 against Houston. Wichita State would be the only team that could tie them then, and Wichita State is 0-2 against Houston. So Tulsa would not be the deciding factor because the Tigers only played them once, and with Wichita State being 1-1 against them, that means theoretically if the Tigers had played them a second time, they could have matched Wichita State. So they throw Tulsa out. It would go to the next one down, which would be either Houston or Cincinnati. Cincinnati doesn't matter because Wichita State only played them once, and the Tigers played them twice. So they throw Cincinnati out. So it would come down to Houston one way or another. Tigers 2-0 against Houston in the case of a win. Wichita State is already 0-2 against Houston, so the Tigers would win that tiebreaker no matter what. So if they win, they are the number 4 seed. If they lose, they cannot be the number 4 seed, no matter what. So they need to win. If they lose, they could end up in a 3-way tie with Wichita State and UConn. They could end up in a 3-way tie with Memphis, a 4-way tie, Memphis, Wichita State, UConn, SMU, or a 3-way tie with Memphis, Wichita State, UConn, SMU, any combination of those teams. It could all, but any of those, the tiebreaker does not go to Memphis getting the 4 seed.
How low can they go? 7?
They could go to 7. In the let's see, that would be the 4-way tie with Memphis, Wichita State, UConn, SMU. No, that would be 6. I don't think they can go to 7. They can't go to 7. They go to 6. The 4-way tie puts them at 6. Any 3-way tie, obviously, the worst they could be is 6. So, yeah, the worst they could be is 6. The highest they could be with a win, they are guaranteed number 4.
If they beat Houston, does that guarantee Tulsa number 1 even if they lose to Wichita State?
Yeah, because Tulsa's already a game ahead of Houston.
So that would be, even though Tulsa gave the Tigers their most lopsided loss of the season, and really, truly, the only blowout loss, I still think it's an anomaly, but it was at Tulsa. I still like being 4 with Tulsa number 1. I mean, this could really, really work out if they can find a way to win, and easier said than done, at Houston. I mean, I like that scenario. But, again, it doesn't take Einstein to figure out if they can limit their turnovers to single digits, maybe 10 at the most, as opposed to 24 and 22 and 20, they got a chance to beat anybody.
Yeah, again, I mean, they're the most talented team in this conference.
Don't tell that to some of the media members here.
People will want to can argue that all you want, but it's just, I'm sorry, they just are. They're the most talented team in the conference. So as long as they can take care of the basketball and not do stupid things, they've got a chance to go out there and beat anybody.
What did you think of?
And it's weird to think, but I would probably agree that being 4 and getting Tulsa as the 1 is better. It's a little weird to say you'd rather play the team you lost to by 40 than the team you've beat twice.
But I'll say it.
But I think Tulsa on a neutral court is certainly a better matchup probably than Houston, even if the Tigers have already beaten Houston twice.
Absolutely. That's the way I feel. All right, so what did you think of last night? And maybe it was just they just lost the game. You didn't feel like talking about it. Or was there anything to Greg Marshall being asked to talk about Penny and the job he's done and him poo-pooing it?
Well, I think most coaches avoid trying to talk about other coaches and the job they've done. I don't think most coaches want to say, review their peers in that setting.
Yeah, but somebody asked Jankovic, and he talked glowingly about Penny.
Calvin Sampson talked about it as well, but there are some coaches who are just going to, as he said, like that. Who cares what I think?
Right.
It doesn't matter.
But I wonder.
That's not my job.
But I wonder if it was just simply that, frustrated from the loss. He talked about his team just having opportunities and not being able to make any shots, or because of everything that has happened and has surfaced about Memphis that, what is he going to say? Praise the guy when he thinks that maybe he truly thinks that, he's the one who got him in trouble. So I don't know. I don't know what was going through his mind. I just thought it was very interesting that he quickly poo-pooed that thing. By the way, I was asked yesterday by a friend, so Greg, what would happen if James Wiseman had played? And he's not talking about the results, how good they would be and all that. He's talking about with this new panel that's going to be looking at the Tigers situation and come up with findings and more than likely punishment for Memphis that can't be appealed. And I said nothing would change. This was still coming out, no matter what happened. But if Wiseman had stayed, and this still came out, and you play out the rest of the season, and you make a run, how about if you got to the Final Four, the national championship game? Would this be one of those deals where the possible and probable penalty would be to strip the banner again? Could it be that ugly? Would they look at it and go, if the whole thing is about using an ineligible player, right? When they were pushed in the direction, because they weren't told you have to do this, but they said, you basically should be doing it, and they defied that. So they, in essence, used a player that was ineligible. They paid the penalty during the season. But if they're going to give them penalties because of that, possibly a postseason ban for next year, maybe a loss of a scholarship or two. Hopefully it's not that severe. But what would they have done if this team made a run, Wiseman stayed? They'd still be looking at the fact that you played him earlier when you should not have played him. So I wonder what would happen.
It wouldn't have anything to do with the post-suspension stuff. The post-suspension stuff is he is eligible at that time. He served his penalty, and now he's eligible to play.
So you think all that, and I think you're right there, but if it's a ban, a postseason ban, which I think is so severe, all stems from just the 2 games.
Well,
really 3, because what we were told also is now that they found out just before game 1, which I had not known that, and still played them.
It is playing him in those games, but it's also you had a booster give a kid money, like gave a recruit money. I mean, that is still something.
But that's a fact no matter what. That's a fact if James Wiseman is playing in the NCAA tournament with Memphis.
Yes. So you can penalize Memphis for boosters giving kids money.
Right. So why couldn't you strip them of a Final Four appearance, of a banner, of a national championship?
Because once you've given the kid the suspension, he is now eligible. Once he comes back, he is eligible to play. The school can still be in trouble for the original payment to the kid by a booster, but the kid is eligible to play after you've told him you're suspended for this many games, then you're okay. He is eligible at that point. He's an eligible student athlete to play the rest of the season.
So it's not like
there's nothing to be, there's no other recourse because he has served his penalty. The school has not served their penalty.
Right. So it's not like they're tacking on the Wiseman's penalty. They are just issuing penalties against the school.
Yeah. I mean, the school has, the thing is, the school had a booster pay a recruit $11,500 who ended up at the school. And they played a kid when told basically he is ineligible. You probably should sit him, and they didn't, and they fought it. So there are a couple of things that they have not necessarily penalized the university for.
Right.
Again, now this committee may look at it and say, well, the suspension was a penalty enough for the playing him the extra games. But they could also still go, well, listen, but you still had a booster paying a kid money.
Or they can look at it.
We're going to give you whatever penalty for that.
Or they can look at it and say, you know what, this is pretty interesting. Why you consider this guy in this case a booster, and maybe we need to fix that. I mean, there's a million things that can happen. There was a lot of people last night I talked to, and they feel that basically this group, this panel of people, will be a shill for the NCAA. There are other people that believe they will independently look at all the information and make a very intelligent decision on what the penalties, if there are going to be penalties, and they probably will be, against Memphis. There's a school of thought for both.
There is. But people who speak as if like it's fact that they're going to do this, you don't have any idea. We don't have a clue what they're going to do because they've never done it before.
Right. They are the guinea pigs. This is the first time.
People are freaking out like, oh, they're going to kill the Memphis Tigers. They're just going to absolutely kill them here. What? Based on what? What evidence?
That's because of the people who feel, and I can understand why they feel that way, the NCAA has a vendetta on the school, and that all this is an arm of the NCAA. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, one of our terrific sponsors for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options for you to suit your financial situation, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, property managers out there, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They are licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on all roofs and work. All their work is satisfaction guaranteed. Don't forget a $100 referral fee for the purchase of a new roof. They do carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, install shingles, rotten wood repair. They can do it all. If you can't handle it yourself, they can take care of it for you. Quality work at a very good price. For a new roof or work around the home, it's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, locally owned and operated for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon today. Tell him I sent you, 901-438-5084, or online at newroofmemphis.com.
We are live at Town Village Audubon Park today. Come on by. You can register to win. We got golf at Wedgewood Golf Course, $50 Butcher Shop gift certificate. We got some Malco movie passes we'll be drawing for. We're going to have barbecue from Memphis Barbecue Company coming here in about a half hour or so just for coming by. Sports 56 T-shirts or these game day programs. You can grab one from the Tigers' victory over Tennessee back in 1996. When we come back, we'll get to your texts. If you want to chime in, you can at 67129. That's the First Bank text line, 67129.
This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Extreme Experience, the nation's premier supercar driving experience, is coming to Memphis this March 20th and 21st. Imagine driving your dream cars on a real racetrack with no speed limits. Drive a Lamborghini Huracan, Ferrari 488, and the all-new Mustang Shelby GT500 and more. Don't miss your chance to drive 500-plus horsepower supercars on a racetrack with Extreme Experience at the Memphis International Raceway this March 20th and 21st. Tickets start as low as $199. Visit xxspeed.com or call us at 866-273-7727 to reserve your spot today. Space is limited. Save 20% with code DRIVETIME. Visit xxspeed.com to book your drive.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you've always thought, hey
guys,
I look pretty good at Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
You're hot.
We are broadcasting live today from Town Village Audubon Park, senior living in today's world, located at 950 Cherry Road, just off Park Avenue. They have a one-bedroom special going on right now, and you can rent this thing month to month. No long-term commitment. Call 901-537-0002 for more information. Also, a couple of upcoming events. This is going to be pretty cool. Last time we were here, Eli, we met a gentleman, Coach Kern, who coached Penny Hardaway, one of his many coaches growing up. And Coach Kern is going to be doing a little speaking engagement called Coaching Penny Hardaway. It's for the Mature Men program. That's Mature Men with Mugs. It'll be coming up on March 18th. It'll be at 10 a.m. right here at Town Village Audubon Park. For more information or to RSVP, call 901-374-7342. That's 901-374-7342, and that is open to all men. Before you get to these texts. Joey Chestnut has done it again, Eli. He has set another world record. You know, he's got the hot dog deal coming up on the 4th of July weekend and other things. Chicken wings, he owns the world record. He has set a world record for McDonald's Big Macs. How many Big Macs can you eat in one sitting?
Just on a normal, not really trying, 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking 3 at most because, you know, you have that sauce and the secret sauce and all that. He devoured 32 Big Macs for the new world record. 38 minutes it took him.
Solid. That's a solid performance.
32
that's
Big
messy.
Macs.
That's got to be messy. Hot dog's one thing. Trying to eat Big Macs in a hurry. That could get a little bit messy.
Oh, my.
Some text here on the First Bank text line, 67129 is the line, First Bank text line. If you want to chime in on the Tigers and the victory last night, now getting ready to take on Houston on Sunday in the final game of the regular season. Raider Corey says, nice win for the Tigers. This may have been their most complete victory of the season. One negative, I'm not sure why they keep killing Boogie's buzz by going back to him hanging out on the perimeter versus being a true point guard. It's evident he wasn't in the flow of the action last night. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree.
This was last night looked a lot like the Boogie from the early part of the conference season. 1 for 6 from the field, 2 points, couple assists, 3 turnovers, a steal, a rebound. Just one of those games where he didn't really have any impact on the game. He's out there and you forget he's out there because he's really not doing much for you.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Corey. Look, Lomax later in the game did some decent things. He had the N1 opportunity, missed the free throw. But early on he had 3 quick turnovers, ended up with 4 assists. But he's got the ball. He can make the plays. Boogie doesn't have the ball for the most part. He's on the wing just standing around. That's Penny's prerogative. It's hard to argue with last night. They were great last night. I still think Lomax in the end for this team is a leader. But to me, he is a 6th man. He's a backup point guard. I think Boogie Ellis, if he's going to stay, and I don't know if he's going to transfer, he's going to stay, he's going to try to test the waters, but he is a guy I think that is more effective with the ball.
Another text here says, thought Penny called a very smart game, maybe his best of the year. Was thrilled to see one of our experienced guards play up to his potential. Hopefully he will turn the corner now. Bravo, Tyler. A great win. I mean, Tyler Harris in the last, probably month, for the most part, has been pretty darn good. I mean, he still had a couple of games in there where, shots weren't falling. But for the most part, Tyler's been making shots and has been pretty good. And last night he was really good.
He is not afraid to take the big shot. I love how he competes. All I say, and I try to be as honest as I can, after we reevaluate or evaluate a game or preview a game, is if Tyler is not making shots, and again, he's been on a hot streak, but there have been games, and you know the games where he's 0 for 7 from 3, he is a liability out there defensively. Last night he was not. He had 4 rebounds, he had 4 assists, he had no turnovers, he had 5 of 9 from 3, 6 of 11 overall. He was terrific. Also, let's not forget, they got some support from Lester Quinones. Continues to struggle a bit with the long ball. But Lester had 12 points, 7 rebounds, no turnovers. I thought and played physical. I thought Lester was really good.
Yeah, and it would be nice if he could find the 3-point shot more consistently. But no, and Lester, because of his size and the way he plays, is usually going to be pretty darn good on the defensive end. Because he's just so big and physical, and he plays hard on the defensive end. He gets after it on the defensive end. So he can still, even without making threes, he still has the ability to make an impact on the game.
I just saw the Memphis Barbecue Company barbecue roll through.
It has arrived. They are getting that set up. Folks, come on by and enjoy some lunch from Memphis Barbecue Company down in Horn Lake, right there at 55 and Goodman Road. Melissa Cookston, the world champion, will be joining us a little bit later on in the program for a few minutes to talk about Memphis Barbecue Company. Another person says, that this is making a little bit of a prediction here, good to see Tyler have a great game in his last game at FedEx Forum.
Well, there's some people that believe that could be the case, but I'm looking at it the other way. Tyler is having fun. He was praising his teammates in the postgame. He's playing a lot. It's not like he's not getting minutes. Tyler ends up playing 27 and a half minutes last night. So do you want to transfer? Look, they haven't enacted the new transfer rule yet. So if Tyler wanted to leave, he'd have to sit out a year.
When you had asked me, I don't know, a month or so ago, I had said that Tyler would be one of the guys that was gone next year. With the way things have gone here over the last month or so, I would lean towards Tyler being back now. I would too. He's getting minutes, and I think we'll see. Now I think part of it may be determined by who they get in recruiting. If all of a sudden they went out and signed a bunch of guards, then maybe. But right now, I would say Tyler would be back.
But right now, with everything that has happened over the last 48 hours, you wonder what's going to happen on the recruiting trail. You're going to get some players, but are you going to be able to land those big-time players that they're going after that Tony Madlock talked about the other day with the uncertainty of the future? If a player is going to come in here and go and be a one-and-done guy, is he going to want to come to Memphis if this results in a one-year ban or even more? I don't know. And there's so much uncertainty, and there's also no timetable for this to be resolved. So if they don't get those guys, those perceived one and dones, you're talking about probably getting some guys that aren't as highly regarded, maybe some JC guys, a senior grad transfer type player, and I don't know if that scares Tyler Harris. Tyler Harris is confident in what he can do right now, so he probably feels, no, I'm going to be out there.
Tyler Harris was extremely confident in his 1 3-pointer last night. That confidence turned out to be false.
Oh, the one he turned around and ran back. He did an old Steph Curry move. By the way, Steph, returning last night for the Golden State Warriors, had 23 points, but just 3 of 12 from distance as the Warriors lost to the Raptors 121-113. But I think that's pretty cool that Steph Curry could have easily sat out the rest of the year. Golden State is going nowhere, but he decided, I want to come back and play, so that's pretty cool.
Another text here in the First Bank text line asking how badly Damian Ball is hurt. Penny afterwards did not seem to make it sound serious. He said, we're hoping to get him to get ready to go for Sunday. So, but he said he re-injured his thumb and didn't think he could dribble or shoot. So, I can't dribble or shoot. That's really tough to play basketball.
Well, some would question right now if he can shoot. I mean, period, without the injuries. He has really struggled. But is it because of the finger or is it because he is not a real good shooter? I still think Damian Ball could be a terrific point guard for the future of this program. I love his court vision. He's had a rocky freshman year. But, yes, he didn't elaborate on the injury, but we've seen his thumb bandaged throughout a good portion of the season. So hopefully they can get him back. I mean, this is definitely a team dealing with attrition as they get ready for this, the final few games, the final game, and then, of course, the conference tournament.
Yeah, so we'll see if he plays Sunday or not. Hopefully, at the very least, they're able to get him back for the conference tournament. But again, Penny did not seem really overly concerned. And who knows how much of a, at that point, Penny doesn't know a whole lot other than, he couldn't dribble or shoot in the game, so we weren't going to play him tonight.
Right.
And at that point, when he's in there, he probably doesn't have much more of an update past that. So maybe they may find out more today and be able to have a better idea of when he could be back.
Yeah, Penny's really good with the media and says a lot of things that are great quotes. He shoots from the hip. But he's very conservative when it comes to injuries. He's not going up there and guessing things if he doesn't have the information. First hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. The website, gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. This month is a huge month at James Gaddis Jewelers. The month of March, 20% off engagement rings. So if somebody wants to get engaged this year, you're looking at rocks. This is a great opportunity to save a lot of money at James Gaddis Jewelers. Also 20% off the March birthstone, any jewelry with the aquamarine, and 20% off all blue topaz jewelry during the month of March. Tons of new jewelry has arrived, including a new line of colorful spring-like Mishu jewelry. And check this out. They can customize jewelry. They can make it to your specifications. If you like, they can provide a free 3D rendering of what your jewelry will look like. They can do that in 2 days. It's free of charge again, computer generated, and then you can go ahead and get that done if that's what you like. But they can do that 3D rendering for you. They will buy your gold and silver, and gold is on fire right now. Bring in your outdated jewelry for a whole new look. They can make a brand new piece of jewelry from your family heirlooms. Showcase gifts under $250. Ronaldo bracelets from $50 to $350. And also a beautiful estate collection that James has put together. Pearls, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and, of course, diamonds. Watches of all types, including new and pre-owned Rolexes. Just a great jewelry store that's been around Memphis, serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 23 years at 4900 Poplar Avenue. It is James Gaddis Jewelers. Go online to gaddisjewelers.com or call them at 901-767-9648.
The barbecue has arrived here at Town Village Audubon Park. Memphis Barbecue Company providing lunch today, so you can come on by, enjoy that. You can also register to win. We got some free golf from Wedgwood Golf Club. We got a $50 Butcher Shop gift certificate. We got some Malco movie passes we're going to be drawing for at the end of the program. Also, just for coming by, we've got some Sports 56 T-shirts. We got some of these mint condition official game day programs for the Memphis victory over Tennessee in 1996 at the Liberty Bowl. Also, do have some Ole Miss baseball tickets for this weekend as well. Forgot to mention those earlier. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday, the Rebels, ranked in the top 10 now, are hosting Princeton. And we've got tickets for any one of those 3 games. If you want to come on by, pick up some tickets to go watch some baseball this weekend, we've got those tickets as well here. All you got to do is come on out and see us at Town Village Audubon Park, corner of Park and Cherry in East Memphis.
We'll take a timeout. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. That's AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Everything about the new Underground Lounge downstairs from 3rd and Court downtown is designed to make you feel like you're in the coolest place you can imagine being. And every Sunday from 7 to 10, there's nothing cooler than jazz at the Underground Lounge. Enjoy the swinging atmosphere, the signature cocktails you can't find anywhere else, and the smooth jazz played by Memphis' finest musicians. There's always great live music at the Underground Lounge, blues, R&B, and every Sunday, jazz from 7 to 10. End the week on the perfect note, jazz at the Underground Lounge.
Hi, I'm Troy 5 owner of 5 Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5 Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5 Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
There's a new commissary in town.
Guys. All right, thanks, Zach.
In Collierville, Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. a cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays, delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
You guys are hot.
It is a perfect song to introduce our friend Carolyn McDougall as we broadcast live today from Town Village Audubon Park. It's always a great delight to be out here, and it's always a delight to talk to Carolyn, who recently in the last M Club Hall of Fame banquet, I guess a month ago or thereabouts, she received the Ralph Hatley Silver M Award. So, Carolyn, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So you are a resident here, and we've talked to you many times. We're going to ask you about the place. I know you absolutely love it. But here we are with your Tigers, and we just had the Eye of the Tiger to lead into this. For those who don't know, it's still a great story. You are an original, right, cheerleader.
Right. I'm the oldest living one.
but the first year they had cheer at then Memphis State.
Yes.
And what year was that?
Well, they started in 1947, and I was not elected a cheerleader until 1948. And at that time, we didn't have cheerleaders for basketball.
It was only football?
Only football. And then the 49-50 season, we had cheerleaders for everything. So,
how many football cheerleaders was there at that time?
Let's see, 8.
Okay.
4 girls, 4 boys.
So were you doing all the crazy moves that they do now?
Oh, no. I would not have been there.
You weren't doing the flips and the tumbles?
No flips, no pyramids.
No pyramids? So tell me about your big honor recently, the Ralph Hatley Silver M Award. What was that given for, and what was your night like?
It was a great night, a nice surprise, and I want to thank Bob Wynn and the M Club board members who selected me for this honor. Of course, when they called me and told me it was a Ralph Hatley Award, then I broke down because Coach was my coach when I started at Memphis. That's when they reinstated football after World War II. So we were the first, and he was our coach and a wonderful person. Coach Hatley had been an All-American football player at Tennessee under General Neyland. So he really was my hero, a gentleman all the way. And he was also chairperson of the Health and Physical Education Department, of which I was a major.
So it had a little extra meaning to have his name on the award.
Absolutely.
So that's nearly 70 or around 70 years later. The guy that was the coach and she cheered for that football team is the award she receives. That's a pretty incredible story. So tell us and tell everybody out there listening that may be thinking about their futures, maybe a parent, maybe a grandparent, about why you love Town Village Audubon Park.
Gee, we have so many activities for our people. You don't just come here and sit in your room. It's really a very active place. They will take you to the doctor. They'll take you to the shopping, the stores, and it's just a wonderful program. I understand there are a few one-bedroom apartments available, and they have a special on right now. So if anybody's interested, this would be a great time to come by here.
What are you, a salesperson too?
Yeah.
Are you in the commission on this?
I might as well be.
All right, so I got to ask you, because we've got these programs. Somebody dropped these off at the station, which is the game program from the football game that they beat Tennessee in 1996. Were you there?
No.
You were not at that game? Okay. Mm-hmm. You're one of the few people that weren't, or at least it says like it weren't. Have you seen this program?
No, I haven't.
You have to check this out. This is
okay.
that's That's a bit of history right there. From
Okay, now
from
that
Memphis.
game was in Knoxville, was it not?
No,
No,
it was
it's
here in
here.
Memphis.
Oh, here? I'm
Remember,
sorry.
the goalpost came down. They were
Right,
walking them down
yes.
Central Avenue. It's maybe the greatest win in the history of the program. When you were cheering, do you remember one game that stood out? One great win for the football team that stood out way back when?
No, the 1950 team was just great. I mean, they had, great expectations, and we won, and really a lot of heroes in that one. Alex Williams was voted Little All-American. Bill Robertson had been Little All-American. So we had some really great players at that particular time.
The football program went from little All-Americans to big All-Americans.
Right, yeah.
So how do you? What's your confidence level in the basketball team getting ready for the conference tournament next week?
I'm always a Tiger. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger. Yeah. No, just like the kids played so well last night.
Yes.
And we just need to support them. I mean, they haven't quit. They've had every reason in the world to quit this year.
Right.
So much adversity. But Penny is going to get them going, and the kids are all ready. And I think we're going to do okay.
You going to watch them Sunday morning?
Absolutely. You know I will.
I know. It was a stupid question. I know. Carolyn, thank you as always. Really appreciate it. It's always great to see your beautiful smile. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. We need to take a timeout. When we come back, hour 2 of the program live from Town Village Audubon Park. The barbecue has arrived. Memphis Barbecue Company on the scene.
I can smell it.
Come on in.
Smells
It smells absolutely out of this world. I've never had that. Unfortunately, today's Lent for me, so I can't eat the barbecue, but I might take a plate, put it in my fridge, and heat it up tomorrow. Anyway, you can come over and grab some food while it lasts. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Danny Tarkanian. That last name sounds familiar, I'm sure, right? Yes, his father, the late Jerry Tarkanian, the Hall of Famer. Danny has written a book about his father called Rebel with a Cause. We'll talk to him to kick off hour 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Sorry about that.
We call that a 3-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at MemphisFarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Tiger Hoops fans have something extra to look forward to this coming March. Not only is it tournament time, but it's the opening of the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum.
After Finch's two-pointer, Ronnie Robinson sank the shot that once again brought the two teams into a tie.
Come to the Pink Palace Museum this March and experience 100-plus years of Tiger men's and women's basketball, from their beginnings at the West Tennessee State Normal School to the present.
The Tigers are very much alive.
Don't miss the Tiger Hoops exhibit at the Pink Palace Museum, opening March 7th. Frontier Western Store is proud to announce their T-shirt sale is back. All regularly priced novelty T-shirts are buy one, get a second half price. Tons of new prints by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, and Puppy Love, as well as men's tees by Live Oak and Haybo, are included. Frontier's women's boutique is loaded with new styles and colors and current trends of tops, tunics, and dresses. And most are just $14.99, available small to 3X. While you're there, be sure to check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Shop thousands of boots year-round that are in stock, ready to try on and take home. Shop at a local store with excellent service. With their extensive selection of dress and work boots, you are certain to find your next favorite pair. Frontier receives new styles and restocks daily from all the largest bootmakers, Dan Post, Durango, Rocky, Ariat, and more. Available in men's, women's, or children's. Outfit the entire family. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in
experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 8989 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 8989. Enjoy.
I'm Dr. George Flynn. As a physician and president of Flynn Broadcasting Company, I want to assure you that this Flynn Broadcasting station will keep you totally updated on breaking news or changes in the coronavirus situation. There's some easy steps you can take right now to begin to prepare you in a relaxed manner. Stock up on any household items you might need for fever reduction, such as aspirin, acetaminophen, or ibuprofen. Stock up on food and disposable items just like you might take on a 10-day vacation. This way, even in the unlikely possibility you're quarantined, it'll only be a minor inconvenience. There's absolutely no reason to panic and certainly no reason to try any unproven treatments or medicines. We'll keep you updated with true, proven medical facts so that you can live with minimal disruption in your life, whether it's at work, at school, or at home. I'm Dr. George Flynn, thanking you for being a stable, positive influence in our community, and stay informed through Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Ready to go?
I buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
You already know you
30
can listen to
seconds.
Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
You guys are hot.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:04 the time. Hour 2, Sports 56 Middays on this Friday, March 6, 2020. Hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather here in Memphis. And we're going to talk to Danny Tarkanian in just a moment. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie on location. We're at Town Village Audubon Park. We hope you'll come on by and see us. Lunch is on us and on Memphis Barbecue Company as it's set up, ready to go. So come on by and come hungry. Zach Boyd producing today back in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx helps small businesses grow every single day. And also the second hour of the program is brought to you by our friends at the Gold Strike Casino Resort in Tunica, Mississippi, and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue located inside the Gold Strike Casino. Well, he was simply one of the greatest coaches in college basketball history. He is a Hall of Famer. His name, Jerry Tarkanian. And his son, Danny, I remember this because I was going to school at about the same time at the University of Maryland when Danny was going to school and playing for his father. Well, Danny is an attorney and a businessman. He's dabbled in politics. And now he's the author of the new book, Rebel with a Cause, the story, the true story of Jerry Tarkanian. You can follow him on Twitter at Danny Tarkanian. Danny Tarkanian joining us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Danny, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, it's our pleasure. Thanks for joining us. I mean, certainly one of the most colorful figures in the history of the sport. Your father was just a sensational coach and fun to watch, and I am really looking forward to reading this thing because it's the true story. We've had a lot of things that have been out there over the years about UNLV and your dad and how the program was run. But first, let me ask you, why and why now writing this book in 2020 about Pops?
Well, I started writing it when he finished his coaching career, and I did so because, as I mentioned in the book, I was a part of almost all of his career. I started off as a ball boy, then I was a player for him at UNLV. I was an assistant coach for him at Fresno State. I was his attorney through some of the NCAA issues. And I just felt watching the media, and particularly the national media, ones I didn't know. My father didn't know his programs, the way they misconstrued his program, his players, his fights with the NCAA. The truth had to be told. And then most recently, with all the NCAA stuff that's been exposed, where people now are saying, wow, look at these things with the NCAA. This is what Coach Tarkanian complained about 40 years ago. We blew it off or really attacked him for being a cheater in poor sport, but really maybe the things he was saying was true.
It's pretty good timing for us here in Memphis because the University of Memphis currently in a battle against the NCAA.
Can I say something about
Sure,
that? Real quick. I don't want to take up all the time on it, but can you believe how ridiculous it is that they would penalize a kid like that because an AAU coach and I understand he's a graduate of the school, but he wasn't the coach of Memphis State. He had no idea he was going to become the coach of Memphis State, and they helped him pay for the transportation and movement for his family to come and be in a better environment. And that's what you should be doing for these kids that don't have the financial resources to do so. Instead, they punish the kid, they punish the school that's wrong.
What was the maybe biggest issue your dad had with the NCAA?
Well, the NCAA rules, the enforcement program, the NCAA started in 1950. They made rules that applied to kids that were playing at that time, kids from affluent families that had discretionary income when they went to college. From the mid-'60s on, basketball and football have been dominated by the poor inner-city African-American kids that don't have discretionary income. In fact, they have no income. And the rules just can't apply to them. And my father felt this was unfair, and I'll give you a couple of examples. We recruited a kid out of Fort Apache in the Bronx in New York City, one of the worst high-rise projects in the entire country. No parents. He lives with his grandma. She can barely afford to put food on the table. And he signs us. How does he get to school to Las Vegas? How does he come to UNLV? We can't pay for his transportation. It's an NCAA violation. Every school in the country that's recruiting these type of kids violate that rule by finding a way to pay for them to get to school. And why shouldn't you? Then they get to school. They don't have excess money to go on a date, to buy new clothes, to go to the movies, to hang out with friends at a party. They don't even have laundry money or school supply money because the NCAA took that out of the scholarship. My father felt, and he was publicly outraged, and he expressed it, that these kids should not be living in poverty, far below the standard of the everyday kids that are students at the school. He was always against paying players large sums of money, buying them a car, doing anything else of substantial value. And of all his battles with the NCAA, not once did they ever make that allegation against his program. But he felt the kids should live with dignity like every other kid. And the NCAA didn't like that. This is this young upstart coach who thinks that he knows more than this organization. Again, this organization was run by Walter Byers. I went through all that in the book. And Walter Byers thought he was some reincarnation of the FBI guy, Edgar Hoover, and was untouchable.
Absolutely. Do you think even though there wasn't anything, there was no proof, and they didn't have anything, because of how they were always on your dad's case, even though his peers knew what type of coach he was and what type of man he was, and despite the fact that he's in the Hall of Fame, his reputation was still a bit tarnished by what the NCAA was speculating.
It wasn't a bit tarnished. It was completely tarnished, and he didn't get into the Hall of Fame until about 16 months before he passed away at 85 years old. And the worst thing about it is the NCAA's investigations took down his programs every time they were just about to break through and start dominating. He takes over a Long Beach State program that was Division II before he got there. In his third year, they lose to UCLA by 2 points in the Western Regional Finals during UCLA's 7-year run. It was the closest game UCLA had during that time period. Well, the NCAA comes in and puts him on probation because of UCLA athletic director turned him in for some minor violation. Then he goes to UNLV, and in his fourth year there, he has him in the Final Four where they lose to North Carolina by 1, and the NCAA comes in and not only puts him on probation, but orders them to fire my father, and that started the 10-year battle. And finally, he overcomes that, and he's got his team at the pinnacle of college basketball. They're arguably either the best or would do one of the two best teams in the country, and the NCAA comes in and forces UNLV to fire him again. So every time he had it going, the NCAA destroyed it. And then even at Fresno State, when he finished his career, we didn't have the same kind of success that he had at Long Beach and UNLV, but it was going pretty good. And they just come in and they suspend players for stupid things. As I wrote in the book, our star center, Melvin Eli, he was a Prop 48 kid. He stayed in school 4 years. He graduated. And they came in and suspended him for 7 games, not because he got anything of a benefit, but because a friend of his stayed at a hotel room paid by an agent without Melvin's knowledge. Never before has that ever happened before, but the NCAA wanted to destroy my father's record and his reputation and his career, and that's what they did.
Did he? How much anger, I guess, was there from your dad towards the NCAA? Even once he was all done coaching, did he ever get over the NCAA issues?
He hardly talked about it to his family, and my father was great that way. One of the reasons I wrote the book was to show what kind of person he was and the people skills he had. But you could tell towards the end of his career at Fresno and also when he retired that he was extremely hurt and disappointed by what happened with the NCAA. And he had a lot of regrets. He said over and over again, I wish I didn't start the fight with the NCAA. He started it when he went public with some newspaper articles ripping the NCAA for doing what we just talked about.
I got to call a game that Tark was coaching at Fresno State. It was an NIT game. Memphis played out at Fresno, so I was able to actually coach or actually call a game where your father was coaching, and that was certainly one of the highlights of my play-by-play career. But getting back to his time at UNLV, the national championship, the Final Four runs, the great players that were able to he was able to get. And you talked about some of the guys in impoverished areas in the country, getting their opportunities. The photo from 91 with the hot tub and the speculation that the sports fixer, it was not speculation about him, it was him in the hot tub with a couple of the players. That really blew things up.
Well, it gave the university the ability to fire my father, which is what they were trying to do because of the pressure the NCAA had. And although that picture, the way you worded it, that certainly sounds bad, but that isn't what the facts were at the time. The guy that you're talking about, the fixer, I think his name was Sam Perry. He changed his name to Richard Perry. People didn't know that he was convicted of sports betting. And Richard Perry and he was the AU coach in New York City for a bunch of great high school players. Many of them played at St. John's, played at New York schools up there, and he was also the AU coach for Moses Scurry. Now, when you talk about that hot tub picture, the 3 players that were in there, Moses Scurry and David Butler, had won the national championship and had graduated before we lost to that Duke game, because the picture gave an implication that maybe the players through the Duke game, which was crazy. 2 of the players weren't even playing in the game, and the 3rd player was a leading scorer and had 30 points in that game, Anderson Hunt. The picture was benign with respect to what happened, but the perception was so powerful, and it was able to be used as a tool to get rid of my father.
To me, it's a shame because I think a lot of the younger people today, because of, again, with the NCAA, like his name doesn't get brought up a lot of times in the great coaches. So I don't think young people today realize what he did and just how good those UNLV teams were. I mean, that 1990 team, I mean, with that group, that team was unbelievable. And the style of play was so much fun because they're putting up 100 points a night.
Yeah, and it's sort of disappointing because that's all people really talk about was those teams, and they don't talk about it as the great teams. As I mentioned, imagine taking a team that was Division II 3 years before and almost beating the greatest dynasty in all of basketball. Then he goes to UNLV, and in that 1977 team, they averaged 110 points a game without the shot clock or the three-point line. Now, take a step back and think of that. 110 points. The year before is 108. And that team loses to North Carolina by 1. And North Carolina had 4 Olympians on the team and was coached by the Olympic coach. Then and we had great teams. My team, we were number 1 in the country for 2 weeks in 1983-84 with just one NBA player off of that. But then the '87 team was 37-1 before they lose to Indiana in the Final Four. That was a great team. And then, of course, the best teams were the two you were talking about, the national championship and the year after, where they lost to Duke. So he had a really good run, and it would have even been better. You know, when he was forced out of UNLV, Ed O'Bannon, Sean Tarver, and Charles O'Bannon had already signed to come to UNLV. Those three took UCLA to the 1995 national championship. Jason Kidd had committed to UNLV as a sophomore. He loved UNLV, was coming there, and then when they forced my dad out, he didn't go. They had a chance to have a real great dynasty at UNLV if those things didn't happen, but they did.
Danny, what were the challenges for your dad? I'm sure you talked to him a lot about it when you were older, and especially when you were an attorney, but the challenges of coaching in a city like Las Vegas with all the gambling around and everything that goes on. I mean, that had to have a lot of challenges, right?
There were a lot of challenges, but it sort of was a perfect storm with respect to my father and the type of player that he brought in. And I discussed it in the book. When my dad grew up, he grew up very poor. He was an Armenian in an area in Central California that discriminated against Armenians. He was a horrible student. He got in trouble off the court. So when he started coaching, the rule was you can't get close to your players. You got to be the boss, and they got to listen to you. Well, he had a whole different approach. He said, "I'm going to get close to these kids that have problems like I did off the court." And he goes, without my mother and some other people, he would never have his life turned around. He used that approach with these players that he recruited, and they were players that nobody else would recruit. Guys that had trouble off the court, kids that weren't good students, and many of them got in trouble. Now, when he went to UNLV, his reputation was already tarnished because of not only those type of players he recruited, but his battles with the NCAA. But the city of Las Vegas had a horrible image too. They were considered Sin City, mobs, prostitution, but it was the entertainment capital of the world. And when my father started the running gun basketball in 1976, 77, so they're playing the most exciting brand of basketball in all of intercollegiate sports in the entertainment capital of the world. They had all these celebrities. Before Showtime, the celebrities went to the Laker games. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Diana Ross, they were all coming to UNLV games. Some of them were singing the national anthem. Then they had this great pregame show. Nobody else had done it before. They started with lights that were all different colors, and then they turned it into fireworks, and then the lasers. Now you see NBA teams copying all that. So they had the greatest entertainment, greatest brand of basketball in the entertainment capital of the world. And then what happened? UNLV wanted to change its image and become a family-oriented image. Right. And their image, my dad's image, didn't fit in with UNLV, and they made a move on him.
What was the whole situation with the San Antonio Spurs and his very short stay in the NBA?
Yeah, that's a great question. I wrote a little bit about it in the book. My dad loved the owner of the 76ers who offered him the job. The same was Katz, I believe. And at that time, Charles Barkley had played 1 or 2 years. People didn't think he was that great at the time, but my father thought he would be great. He was ready to sign the contract, and all of a sudden Larry Brown leaves the Spurs, takes another job, and that opened up a Spurs team that had a chance to win the NBA championship with their players. Well, when my dad gets there, they lose 2 starters to injuries, and the third one, Rod Strickland, a great point guard, they wouldn't re-sign him even though my dad begged him to. And they started losing games. They were 9-11. My dad hadn't lost 11 games in his last 3 years at UNLV. And, a college coach determines who his players are. In the NBA, that's not the case. So my father speaks his mind. He goes public and complains about the roster they had. And Red McCombs, who was the owner, and Bass, who was general manager, called him in and said, "If you don't like the roster, you can leave." My dad said, "Okay, I'm out of here."
What about his coaching brotherhood? Who did he really like to go up against and was considered friends? And were there some guys that he just did not like?
That's really a great question because my dad loved my mom and dad talk about how great it was to coach back then. Most of the coaches got along together. They loved college basketball and coaching. They weren't so much what you see now, the suit tie CEO type. My dad was very close to a guy named Abe Lemons who coached at Oklahoma City in Texas. Funniest coach ever, and I put a lot of his stories in the book. And Jim Valvano, he was very close with, and I put a lot of the lines Jim Valvano had. Jim Valvano was so funny, and he was also very close with Lefty Driesell from Maryland. Yep. I think the guy that he was the closest at the end with was the former Memphis coach, who's now at Kentucky.
Calipari.
Calipari called my dad in the hospital when he was just before he passed away on New Year's Eve, and spoke with him for about 30 minutes. And my dad couldn't speak much, but Cal did all the speaking. He was really wonderful. And then we had to pull the plug on my father. Calipari had called and said he was at the church, St. Rosary's for him and stuff. I got a lot of respect for Coach Cal.
Yeah, Cal was Cal would do most of the talking no matter what. So whatever the situation was, Cal would do all the talking. But that's certainly great. I think it's an incredible book. Like I said, you played in the early 80s for your pops. I was not a basketball player, but I went to school at the University of Maryland from 80 to 84 when Lefty was the coach. So it's my era to watch those great coaches and those great teams. And your dad certainly had a lot of them. And like I said, I got a chance to call a game where your dad was coaching at Fresno State, beat Memphis on a buzzer beater, kind of a controversial ending. They didn't have replay, of course, and all that. And it was just fun to see your dad also with the old towel, right? The trademark towel in his mouth. That was simply something special to be able to do that and watch him coach on the other side and certainly call that game. But I think it's a fantastic book. Danny, how can people get a hold of this book?
They can go to Amazon and just punch in Rebel with the Cause or my name, Danny Tarkanian, or use my father's name, and they can get it from there. It's in a few bookstores, but mostly Amazon would be the best way.
It is a book about Danny's father, Tark the Shark, the great Jerry Tarkanian, the Hall of Famer. It is a must-read for basketball fans out there. Also, you can follow Danny on Twitter at Danny Tarkanian. Hey, Danny, best of luck with the book, and thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be on. You have a good day.
You too. Tark the Shark. Man, oh, man. That guy and his battles with the NCAA.
Think about
all the time.
That's what I didn't realize he was averaging that many points. With no shot clock and no three-point line, averaging over 100 points a game in college basketball is crazy.
Well, he was ahead of his time. Think about what we see now mostly in the NBA and in college for the most part. Not always. Don't look at Virginia. But you have, obviously, the advantage with the three-point shot, but you still have teams wanting to get up and down the court, space and pace, and we see that all over the NBA now. So I think the style he played was something that people didn't see. They weren't used to seeing, and they were really, really special teams. I mean, we didn't even bring up Grandmama, Larry Johnson, probably the best of all those guys, Greg Anthony. They were all at one time at UNLV.
90-91 teams were that group with Johnson and Ogben and Anderson Hunt and Greg Anthony. I don't think people realize how good that team was. They were unbelievable.
When we come back, the Grizzlies and the Mavs tonight in Dallas. The Grizzlies will be home against the Hawks tomorrow. They got a 3-game winning streak. Can they keep it going tonight? Also, the ESPN story about Peyton Manning and what was Quinnen Williams thinking at the LaGuardia Airport. We will discuss all these stories and more. We'd love to hear from you via text at 67129. At the end of the hour, we'll talk to the 10-time world champion, barbecue champion, Melissa Cookston. We will also, in hour number 3, be joined by Matt Dillon for the Tiger Basketball Report. So we'll get right back into the conversation about the Tigers. Also, the University of Memphis has released its voting for the men's centennial team. And we'll tell you about those 10. It was announced last night, actually shown on the big screen at FedEx Forum. We'll talk to Matt Dillon about that as well. And, not to be outdone, 10 in a row will grab the spotlight in our final half hour. I want to tell you that our second hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, the South's premier sports entertainment venue located inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. You can wager on all your favorite sports at one of the more than 10 betting kiosks. I think they're up to 12, 14 kiosks now that are located throughout the resort. You can watch the games on 60 HD screens while you lounge in plush seating, enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Also, when you're laying down a bed and having a nice bite to eat, you can go over and play a little golf at the Top Golf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun, interactive games every sports fan will love. It's all about the experience. It's all about having a good old time, and you'll get both at the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, especially during March Madness, which is now upon us. So take advantage of it when you're heading down to Tunica. Head down to the Gold Strike Casino Resort and the Moneyline Book Bar and Grill. We are broadcasting live today from Town Village Audubon Park. Don't forget they're running a one-bedroom special, monthly rates. You can call 901-537-0002 for more information. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz, right here on Sports 56.
About your products?
Yeah, absolutely. At our website, BlueNoteBourbon.com or RiversetRye.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Blue Note Bourbon or at Riverset Rye.
All right, well, that sounds great. I can't wait to try a bottle.
Yeah, Eli, I really appreciate the support, and hopefully you and your listeners can pick up a bottle today.
It's not too early to start planning for spring at Family Leisure. New pools are starting at $19.99, spas starting at $21.99, and swim spas now only $99.99. 5-piece patio furniture starts at only $799. Pool chemicals, toys, accessories, and more up to 20% off. Mention this ad, you'll get free delivery and 1 month of chemicals with your spa purchase. Start your spring planning now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
A good friend of mine told
Hey, guys,
me
you got
about
a
this
minute.
awesome place
All right,
for
thanks,
lunch.
Ash.
Oh, yeah? What's the name? $7.95, meat and 3 veggies, $9.99, and veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Hey, you're making me hungry. Let's go. You drive, I'll buy.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil.
Every Wednesday, world-famous Elmo and the Shades. No cover charge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Neil's Bar and Grill.
Where the fat man rocks.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Bust it.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Guys, hot.
Welcome back, everybody. We are broadcasting live today at Town Village Audubon Park. Having a good old time as we always do.
Again, don't forget to come on by, register to win. We've got some free golf at Wedgwood that we're going to be giving away. It's golf for 4. We got a $50 Butcher Shop gift certificate. Of course, on today's Friday, Hamburger Friday, you could do some damage with a $50 gift certificate to the Butcher Shop. But anytime you go over. That's going to be a great savings for you. Plus, we got some Malco movie passes, a couple of pair of Malco movie passes we'll draw for at the end of the show just for coming by. We've got some Ole Miss baseball tickets for their series this weekend against Princeton today, tomorrow, and Sunday. We've got Sport 56 T-shirts you can grab when you come on by. You can also grab a program, the official game day program from the Tigers game against Tennessee in 1996. We've got some of those again in mint condition, too. Really cool little keepsake for you Tiger football fans. Come on by. You can grab one of those. Take it home with you as well when you come on by and see us here at Town Village Audubon Park. And, again, there is barbecue here from Memphis Barbecue Company. Right there at 55 and Goodman Road is where you'll find them. Delicious stuff. Melissa Cookston, who is, I believe, again, I hope I'm not shorting her on any world championships. I want to say 10-time world champion. She may have more. I don't know. We will find out. She's going to join us coming up a little bit later on, and we'll see exactly how many world championships she has on her mantle.
A lot.
It's more than me. Here's what I can confirm. It's more world championships than I have.
More than you and me combined. By many.
You know, my team finished third in the world one time at Barbecue Fest. We've never won a championship. She's got numerous world championships. And
that's right. You were actually part of a team.
And there's not a lot of women in that field doing that either. She is a pioneer.
Well, you could taste this great barbecue by coming on over here to Town Village Audubon Park while the food lasts. Ryan Fitzpatrick sent out a video to multiple members of the media to explain why he voted yes for the new CBA. Right now that voting is going on. I think they have until next Thursday. I want to say next Wednesday or next Thursday to get their votes in. But here's a veteran, because we have seen the veterans come out, especially the ones that have a lot of money, and have come out and said vote no. And then some younger players who have said, no, I'm voting yes. I mean, this is going to benefit me. I don't know how long my career will be. Well, here's a guy, Fitzpatrick, who's a veteran. He's made an awful lot of money. And he said there's a long list of reasons why. I think first, when we met with the National Football League Players Association leadership during the season, we gave them things that we wanted to see addressed, whether it was the increased minimum salaries, the drug policy in regards to marijuana, different work conditions in terms of increased roster spots, treating the practice squad a little bit better, hours that we're able to be at work, less hitting in training camp. There was a ton of different things that we said we wanted to be addressed. The increased benefits for current players, increased benefits for past players. I think the vast majority of those were hit and addressed in the CBA. And for us as players, revenue sharing, getting a larger percentage of the pie is important, but also the overall growth of that pie is important. And those two things both happen if we sign this CBA. Who is going to argue with an Ivy League grad?
Well, and listen, all those reasons, fine. He could obviously do what he wants to do, but could also, some people may look at it and go, Ryan Fitzpatrick realizes that he doesn't have many years left in his career. I'm not sure that Ryan Fitzpatrick could survive a work stoppage and still have a job afterwards.
That's true, but the way it's going, who knows with Ryan Fitzpatrick? Some of these younger players not living up to their expectations. They keep going back to the well for these veteran players. Who knows how long Ryan Fitzpatrick will continue to be a quarterback in the NFL. But it'll be interesting how this vote goes. Again, most people believe it will be passed. The Grizzlies tonight in Dallas. Grizzlies come in riding a 3-game winning streak. They won their last 2 games by 39 points. Not total. Each game by 39 points. That's unfathomable. The Mavericks are 38-25. Luka had another triple-double the other night. Kristaps Porzingis playing really, really well. Grizzlies don't normally play well in Dallas, but
although they did earlier this year.
They did earlier this year, and they understand the importance. 20 games to go. Dallas is a playoff team, but not the Milwaukee Bucks or the Raptors, in my opinion, and some of these other teams that they will be playing down the stretch. 2 games with Portland, 2 games with New Orleans, which are teams that are chasing them. So do I feel they have a chance? Absolutely. The way they're playing, I feel they have a chance. And then tomorrow against Atlanta, they know they have to win that game. I don't think they'll play like they did Monday, and I don't think Atlanta will play like they did Monday. It'll be more competitive, but the Grizzlies know what they have to do. So there's a chance tonight. Could you imagine a 4-0 week after losing 5 straight out of the gate post-All-Star game?
Dallas helped the Grizzlies the other night by beating New Orleans, so this could kind of again be like the Lakers situation where you get the win, and while the other team in New Orleans gets the loss against the same team. It certainly will be difficult. Dallas with Luka playing the way he is and Porzingis, this is a pretty good team, and not an easy place to go in and play. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what the Grizzlies can do defensively. Again, I mean, just look at those last 3 games and what they've done defensively is just incredible. Can they shut down Luka and the Mavericks and hold them to, under 100? The last 3 have been under 90, including one under 80. I don't know. This will be a tough one.
And tomorrow night it's Trae Young and the Hawks. So first time John Trae will have met in Memphis. They met this past Monday in Atlanta. There's been a lot of debate on ESPN and other shows about the future players, the future of the NBA, which includes Ja Morant and Trae Young, and also includes Zion Williamson and Luka Doncic. And the debate was, who would you rather have moving forward between those two? There is no doubt in my mind Luka Doncic, of those 4, would be the guy I'd want.
Hard to argue with what he's done. I mean, he's a triple-double, waiting to happen every single night.
He's already broken Jason Kidd's record for triple-doubles in Dallas.
He can shoot it. He's got size. I mean, there's a ton to love about Luka Doncic's game. I really like watching him play. Tonight will be fun to see him again going against Ja. So yeah, I would have no problem with any of them. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, Luka is special. Not that the other guys aren't, but he is with what he's already accomplished. Certainly, he is showing how special he is.
Grizzlies got some help last night from the 76ers, who are bad on the road. Let's be frank here, but they won last night at Sacramento, 125-108. Every little bit helps the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I mean that's the Kings have been playing well, so and the Kings have the tiebreakers. That's the other thing that the kind of lingers there with Sacramento versus the Grizzlies is they have that tiebreaker, having won the season series. So getting teams to knock them off, yeah, you'll at this point just take any help you could possibly get. I guess Portland is the biggest threat.
I think they are.
Because New Orleans is not taking advantage of the easy schedule to this point anyway. So I guess Portland at this point is probably still the biggest threat. The fact that you still have to play Portland twice in Portland,
right?
They are probably the biggest threat of this. So, but yes, if you want to see as many of these teams get knocked out of the running as possible, just to start eliminating teams. So any games that Sacramento can lose, Phoenix, I don't think Phoenix was ever really in it to begin with. New Orleans, the more teams you can knock out of the running, the better.
The L.A. Lakers have signed Dion Waiters. They decided against J.R. Smith. They're going to sign the former Grizzlies great.
He can play.
If he has his head on straight, he can play, right?
I mean, and this is betting on. I think for the Lakers, this is betting on the fact that big time veteran team with
you're going to mess around with LeBron on the
James,
team, right?
Like Dion Waiters, isn't going to be dumb enough to come in and screw that up. However, Dion Waiters is pretty dumb, so it is a risk to take. But if he acts up at all, I'm sure it will be a very quick exit for Dion Waiters.
Your greatest memory of Dion Waiters in Memphis is?
I've got nothing.
It's hard to come up with just one,
at least
right?
Well, here's the good thing for him. He was never suspended as a member of the Grizzlies.
Okay. Looking at the positive. He's a half-full kind of guy.
He was on his best behavior when he was a member of the Grizzlies. Never served one suspension. Team didn't have an issue with him at all. Never. He had no problems in the locker room. He was really his shining moment in the NBA.
Well, speaking of dumb or maybe not on their best behavior, whichever way it ends up being, I don't know if we'll ever get to the truth of this, but I'm leading into the story about the former Alabama star, Quinnen Williams, the Jets defensive end, who was arrested at LaGuardia attempting to board a plane with a firearm, a Glock. So was it stupidity, or was he really trying to pull a fast one? How does he, by the way, get to that point? Did he get through security, or was it right at the security point?
I'm sure it was at security.
Okay, because they say boarding a plane. I'm thinking like the guy's already inside and pass security. But is this a simple – his attorney believes it's just a simple thing where he has a registered gun in Alabama, which was that gun, and he simply forgot to take it out of his luggage or suitcase, whatever it was in.
I mean, I guess you have to believe that's the case. Like, I don't think anybody's dumb enough to think they're going to be able to get through security at an airport with a gun.
We got some dumb people. We just talked about Deion Waiters.
It's also like, how do you forget? Like, when you're going to the airport, you're going to go, you're flying.
Right.
Like, you got a bag that sometimes you keep your gun in there. Like, I don't understand how you forget that. It's weird. Like, it's always weird. Anytime I see these situations, it's always weird to me to think, like, that somebody would be like, oh, that's right, my gun. Forgot all about that thing. Like, that's something you would think you might want to check for when, oh, that's right, I do keep my gun in this bag once in a while. Let's make sure that I don't have it in there since I know I'm going to get caught with that at the airport.
Don't you, like, when you pack for a new trip, don't you start all over with your luggage or with the bag or carry-on? Don't you look in there and see what's there and make sure? What I do is I empty it all out when I come home, so it's a completely empty bag. But then again, I'm pretty anal when it comes to that stuff. But other people may keep stuff in there from the last trip, but then you pull it all out and then you put into the new bag what you're bringing for the new trip. And, oh, there's the gun. Can't bring the gun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he does it, but yeah, it's just it's stupidity one way or the other. Now, you have to believe that yes, it's just I forgot that was in there, because I don't believe that anybody is dumb enough to really think that I'm going to sneak this gun by security. Like, that's not going to happen. They're going to find it.
All right, one more thing, and then when we come back.
It's funny how X-ray works.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're going to talk to Melissa, as we talked about earlier, the 10-time world champion, or maybe more, barbecue. Just unbelievable barbecue, and it's right here where we're at today, broadcasting live from Town Village Audubon Park. They've brought barbecue for all, not only the residents, but all our listeners that want to come by and have lunch. But the final thing I wanted to ask you about, take a sip of water, excuse me, is Peyton Manning. And the story now, we had the story yesterday about the possibility, it just seems ludicrous on the surface, but a trade where ESPN would trade for Al Michaels of NBC and team him with Peyton Manning. Now, Peyton Manning has not made any decisions that I've heard about his future, but the report now is that they are willing to offer, if you believe these reports, and with what Tony Romo got, who's to think it's false? $20 million a year for Peyton Manning. As an analyst who hasn't done it, surpassing Tony Romo's total, who is now the greatest analyst that has ever lived, ever walked the face of the earth. What is going on, Eli? What is happening?
Clearly, these networks and such have a lot of money to spend.
This just did.
I like Peyton Manning, great, and I think he could be great at doing, being an analyst. I just can't imagine it being worth $20 million, but it's not my money to spend.
What are you giving Al Michaels if you're giving Peyton $20 million? If it's a real trade, do they honor the contract he's already under, or does he sign a new contract?
In a television trade, I'm not sure if the contract is traded or how that works.
I get a feeling like Booger made $250,000, and now Peyton are offering $20 million. It's just absolutely crazy. Again, we're broadcasting live today from Town Village Audubon Park. They have coming up a Liberty Luncheon, a salute to Vietnam veterans, and I have a brother who is a Vietnam veteran. It's coming up on March 30th at 12 noon. And again, they're located at 950 Cherry Road. All veterans and friends of veterans are welcome to join us for this special luncheon. Cecil Brunson, a Vietnam POW, will be talking about his experiences during the war. The event, again, is free and open to the public. All they ask you is that you RSVP at 901-374-7342. 901-374-7342. Liberty Luncheon, a salute to Vietnam veterans, right here at Town Village, Audubon Park on March 30th. We'll take a timeout. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whdq.com.
The doors never close 24 hours a day at Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 12 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long net domestics, $2. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why.
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together.
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, ah yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Let's up your life with Let's.
Hey guys, is almost here, and this is the perfect time to visit Lads of Memphis for all your golf cart and lawn tractor needs. Visit their open house on Saturday, March 7th, and check out the new Spartan mowers and current promotions. Test drive a new Club Car Onward golf cart and spin the prize wheel for a chance to win up to $500 in Lads credit.
Let's up your life with Let's. Let's up your life.
I'm Joe Coy,
30 seconds.
comedian, and I'm here to toast my mother. Sam Adams is the best beer for this toast. It's grassroots, it's family. What I take from that is the same thing that I got from my mom. Mom, when you came to this country, it was to give the kids an opportunity that you knew that you would never have. Thank you for everything you sacrificed. This is for you.
Oh, do you?
So proud of you. I love you.
Okay. I always see the photos. I'm like,
slow down, lady.
that looks good. I haven't had a chance to get over that yet.
Save the driver a bad memory.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays,
All right.
presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Guys are hot.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. Final few minutes here in hour number 2. Coming up in hour 3, Matt Dillon will join us here at Town Village Audubon Park for the Tiger Basketball Report. We got 10 in a row coming your way as well at the end of the first half hour in our final hour. But right now, we are very pleased to be joined by Melissa Cookston, who happens to be a 7-time barbecue world champion. And I just found this out, not only a barbecue Hall of Famer, the first female Hall of Famer in the Barbecue Hall of Fame, which is in Kansas City. Eli, we need to get it moved to Memphis.
That's ridiculous in its own right.
And Melissa owns the Memphis Barbecue Company down at Horn Lake, and they are catering lunch for the folks here at Town Village Audubon Park. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
So talk about this love for barbecue. Where did it come from?
My husband made the mistake of taking me to a barbecue contest on our first date.
Oh, wow, the first date.
Yeah. And, I think it appealed to my competitive junkie nature and my love of barbecue. I was hooked at first sight.
Were you always cooking things younger days and before you started to become a professional and a world champion? Did you always like to cook, and so you combined the two?
Well, I've been in the restaurant business 38 years, so I had the cooking down. Didn't really know there was a such thing as competition barbecue, but you walk around, you smell the smells, you get that feeling of competition, and what's not to love about that?
So your world championships, what are they in? Has it been ribs? What's your world championships in?
Well, I kind of feel like if you want to consider yourself great, you should be great at whatever is the most challenging thing to do. So I do whole hog.
Okay, you do the whole hog,
yeah.
And it's all of it's always been whole hog from the beginning.
It's always been whole hog, and in 2014, I cooked the best whole hog that I thought I would ever be able to cook. So what do? You either quit or figure out a way to do it better. So I started breeding my own hogs, specifically for competition.
The restaurant's been open since
2011.
So what would be your recommendation for people that have not been there yet when they first go down there? What should they open?
Hold on one second. Zach?
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck.
What is going on with that internet today?
Timing award right there.
No, I think it might have just went out altogether. Where did he go? Nobody tripped over this cord, right? No, there we go.
How old is your water heater?
All right, Zach, we got us
most
now.
Most of the water heaters in the Mid-South located in the attic.
Yeah, I got
the
you.
worst day
All
you
right.
can replace your water
We're ready to
heater
go
is one day too late.
Break starts.
It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot
come
water.
back after this one.
Plus, these energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month.
Yes. I started
Most 10-year-old water heaters were about 65% efficient when they were new, compared to a tankless water heater from Conway
Just
Services.
come back after
that's
this one
up
and
to
just do another.
98%
We'll take the
efficient.
break there
Plus,
before
right now,
Dylan
get your
get Dylan
tankless
in
water
here.
heater from Conway Services for as low as $79 per
That
month.
again?
Or I'll give you $300 for that old tanked water heter.
Just come back to us
Come back after this one, then we'll take another short break
So
before
call
Matt
Conway
Dillon.
Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at
Okay, coming back.
384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I'd like to
Now,
say,
back
there
to
we go.
Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
All right, got you hot.
I would like to say we took a quick break from the interview to go over and eat some of the barbecue, but I'd be lying if I said that. We had a technical difficulty there, but we are back, and we are joined by Melissa Cookston. She owns the Memphis Barbecue Company restaurant, which is in Horn Lake, but she's also a 7-time world champion. She's in the Barbecue Hall of Fame. Before we were rudely cut out of this interview, I was asking you about folks who have not been down to your restaurant. When they go there, what's your recommendation for what they should get the first time?
Our baby back ribs wet are definitely the number one seller. We hand pull pork when you order it, never before. It's a quality statement from us. When I opened the doors, I said we will never take shortcuts. I make our own buys on ribs and pork, and I go directly to the pork farmers. We don't depend on our vendors to do that for us. So
and you were saying too that you started breeding your own pigs too
for competition.
For the competition stuff.
I can't breed enough hogs to go through. We cook over 4 tons of meat a week.
Oh, my gosh.
Holy cow.
Yeah, hogs quiver when I walk by.
So
you're hands-on. You're hands-on.
When you're, what's the decision to start breeding your own pigs for this? You said you thought you had cooked the best one ever, so this was the next step, I guess, improving it?
It was. I just wanted to see if I could do it. Commodity growers for hogs, they're looking to part hogs. They're looking for shoulders, ribs, loins. and I needed a hog for cooking whole hog, and I needed intramuscular